Hello, we come to our next in the series of Gems of the Alshich, and we're in the Seder of Nasso. Nasso in Bamidbar, so the second Seder in Bamidbar, the Book of Numbers, it's got lots and lots of themes, but one of the most interesting, really interesting themes, one of the most interesting phenomena in the Torah is the ability for a person to become a Nazir, a Nazarite. Exactly what Nazarite is, we'll have to explain in a second. You see, the thing is that before, what we've had up to now is a focus on the tribe of Levi and in particular, the Kohanim. So as we're talking about the tribe of Levi having special role to play, and the Kohanim who come from the tribe of Levi having a particularly special role to play, the Kohen Gadol coming from there, it might well be the case that you might consider, says the Alshich, that the highest spiritual level is achieved just because you happen to be born into the right family, the right name. So in order that you shouldn't think that, along comes straight after the whole stories of the special roles in the Mishkan and the tabernacle that the Leviim played. Straight after that, there is the story of the Nazir, because anybody can reach the level, whether you're born into the greatest family or not, you can reach the highest level. In fact, the Talmud famously says that a mamzer, somebody born in an incestuous or an adulterous relationship, not a very good start in life, could be the greatest Talmud Chacham, whereas the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, could be an Amoris, a complete ignoramus, a boor. So it doesn't really matter where you're born, it's a question of what you do with yourself. So that's why the Nazir comes along, the story of the Nazir after the story of the Leviim, who seem to be favoured in so many ways, to establish the principle that no, an ordinary Jew can reach the highest level, the level of a Kohen Gadol, because one of the restrictions, once a person decides to take on himself to be a Nazir, or herself to be a Nazir, it's across the genders, is that a person has to keep away from a dead body. What's a dead body? Even to the extremely strict level of the Kohen Gadol. So you can reach that level, it's a matter of choice. But you should not keep away from wine and the haircut business that we see as a condition of this, no haircuts for the period that you're a Nazir, and contact with a dead body for insincere motives. It has to be that you're doing it for sincere motives to bring you closer to God. And the Rambam famously says that you should never go to any extreme except if you've been to another extreme, to get you back in the middle. The middle's the way to go. So the story of the Nazir also comes straight after the story of the woman accused of adultery, which the rabbis assume was caused by her getting drunk. Alcohol as a drug is a disinhibitor that led this married woman to maybe commit adultery, and therefore there's a whole appalling, embarrassing, shameful process of her trying to prove that she's not guilty of this crime. If you see that process, you should make sure you don't get involved in anything bad through alcohol. So that's basically the story. So it's in chapter 6, and it's verses 1 to 4 that really we'll focus on. Well, won't focus on too much of it, so don't worry. And God speaks to Moses and he says, speaks to the Jewish people. You should say to them, Ish, a man, or Isha, or woman, ki yafle neder neder nazir lazar Hashem, who's mafli, yafle, it's a very interesting word, yafle. It means to separate himself, says Rashi, to hide yourself away, then that, and to be, what you're hiding yourself away from? All the temptations of this world. You're focusing on the spiritual for a set period, usually it's a month, and you're setting yourself a high goal in order to, as it were, correct the damage done to you spiritually by seeing the woman who's done something or accused of doing something terrible, and you see the whole process that making a terrible mistake can sometimes result in. So you want to separate yourself from the world. That's what it says. So the Alshich says something here which I think is very, very interesting and very challenging. And he says the following thing. Oh, now, this is unusual because up to now we've only talked about the Alshich and the Chumash, but he refers to the prophets, the book of Shoftim, Judges, from which we extract the bit of course, after we read the Torah on the Shabbos morning, there's the Haftorah, the extra bit, which has got the same theme, usually the same theme, from somewhere else in Nach. It comes from a time when we were in exile and the rulers banned the reading of the Torah, so they didn't ban the reading of the rest of our Bible, so the rabbis extracted a piece from the rest of the Bible, which would, as it were, match the theme, to remind us what we should be reading. So, of course, the story, if we're talking about being a Nazir, keeping away from wine, is the story of Shimshon. His mother is visited by an angel, and the angel says to her, "You're going to have a child." She couldn't have a child up to then. And this child must be a Nazir from the womb. He must never come into contact with haircuts and wine and dead bodies. Fine, he's a Nazir forever. Shimshon, the famous story, or many famous stories with Shimshon. Fine, that's where we're up to so far. Now, the Alshich says a very interesting thing. Let me read this a little bit to you. This is, so the angel appears. She tells her husband, an angel appeared to me and said, I'm going to have a child. He said, I'd like to see this fellow. Well, that's a rough translation. And he appears to her husband Manoah as well. And Manoah says to him something very, very interesting. Manoah says to him, what's your name? What's your name? So, B'yom HaMalach HaManoach, so he replies and he says to him, let me just find the place. This would be very good if I found this. It helps that my glasses are off, to tell you the honest truth. Good. So, B'yom HaManoach El HaMalach, it's verse Yud Zayin. B'yom HaManoach El HaMalach, and Manoach replies to the angel, Malach Hashem, Mishemecha, what's your name? Ki Yovod V'Recho, Chodecho, Gavdunechem. Just let me know what your name is. In order, let me honor you. B'yom HaMalach, and the Malach says, Lama zeh tishal l'shmi, why do you ask my name? V'hu peli. V'hu peli. Peli. It's the same word that we had here. Yiflo, remember, this was the whole story of the Nazir. It said, a man or a woman, ki yafle. We said, hides themselves away. So it's the same word. So he says, why are you asking my name? V'hu peli. I suppose we translate, it's hidden. It's hidden away. Now, we get the exact same phrase in the Torah earlier on, when Yaakov fights with the angel, and he says to him, what's your name? And he says, Lama zeh tishal l'shmi, why ask him my name? The angel that Yaakov was fighting with there, as the Alshich points out, was the angel that represented the nation of Esau, who would eventually evolve into Rome, at least philosophically, and Rome would split into many nations, Europe, and that philosophy we're familiar with, which is sadly the great historical enemy of the Jewish people, culminating in the Holocaust. So he says that, why are you asking me my name? So they say that he didn't answer him. Yaakov says, what's your name? He says, Lama zeh tishal l'shmi. But some commentators point out, he said, no, he did answer him. He said, what's your name? He said, Lama zeh tishal l'shmi. Why do you ask? That's my name. He likes it best. Esau's angel likes it best when you're not asking any questions. When you just go through life and everybody's doing the same thing, and hey, that's the thing to do, and it's, go through life like sheep. Don't question me. Here the Alshich says, when the exact same phrase the question is asked, same question is asked by Manoah to the angel who told his wife she's going to have a baby, and he says, why are you asking my name? V'hu peli. And it's hidden. And Rashi says there, it's always changing. Every angel is given a job to do. The name that they're given is for that mission. It's like, in the spy novels, right? You're a code name for a particular job that you're doing. My name's always changing. So is Esau's angel's name always changing. There's always the great enemy of the Jewish people. They're always, Esau's angel is always changing himself. Oh, the name of the angel, of his real name, is Satan. That's the angel of Esau. And he's always changing himself. And he's coming to threaten the Jewish people or seduce the Jewish people to abandoning Torah, which gives him all his strength, in many different guises, wearing very different masks, different flags, different slogans. It could be nationalism. It could be socialism. It could be feminism. And so many other isms. I'm never constant, he's saying. I'm always hiding myself away. I'm always changing. So here, you've got to change. The same word, you've got to hide yourself away from the world in order to change. But we see the same thing in the Haftarah at the end. The angel's giving us a very interesting insight. The job of an angel is always a different job. The job of Esau's angel, in order to get the Jewish people to stumble and to fall, is always subtle, and it's always evolving and transforming. So the threat that he proposes to the Jewish people, the seduction that he presents to the Jewish people to abandon Torah and Yiddishkeit in one generation will be totally different in a different generation. You have to be able to know how to face the evolving challenge of Esau's, our great enemy's angel, and to be able to see exactly when he's hiding and presenting a very nice smiling face, but really he wants to destroy the Jewish people.